I once again have another little book haul to share with you today. I know I have a problem, but it's okay. We're slowly getting through the physical TBR and maybe adding more to it, but books are actively leaving my collection as I read them and decide whether or not I want to keep them, so it's all gonna work out in the end. Hopefully. But I have this nice little stack next to me that I would love to haul today. I am going to share them in no particular order because I was feeling kind of lazy, if I can't lie, and didn't feel like organizing them. So I do think I have like authors with each other, but other than that, it's not separated by genre or anything. I'm just going to work my way down the stack, and Eowyn is going to help apparently. So first off, we have If Not For My Baby by Kate Golden. I had never heard about this book until last week, actually. I was just perusing Book Outlet, as one does, and I stumbled upon it and thought to myself, man, that looks like Hozier on the cover, the man. And then I thought, If Not For My Baby sounds like it could be a Hozier lyric. He has a song called Nothing Fucks With My Baby, so I was like, that sounds kind of like it could be him. And then I was reading the synopsis, and it's supposed to be about a romance that involves an Irish megastar named Halloran. And that seemed like it was a little too close to being Hozier to be a coincidence. So I googled it, and it is in fact a romance novel that is inspired by Hozier, so obviously I added it to my cart instantly, and hopefully it's really good. I don't really know what to expect with this one. I've never heard of this author before or this book, and I don't want to read any reviews on it because I don't want to like give myself an opinion of the book before I've actually even given it a chance. It could be interesting. It could also be like really poorly written fan fiction, but we're going to find out. Next, I received volume 10 of Lore Olympus in the mail. I forgot that I even pre-ordered this one, but I'm so happy that it's finally come out because I've been really looking forward to seeing what happens next with these characters. I also must say I love the cover of this one. This has got to be one of my favorite covers for the Lore Olympus series. It just looks so freaking cute. I don't know when this series is gonna end, but honestly, Rachel Smith can keep them coming. Then I got a few Taylor Jenkins Reid books. So first up was Maybe in Another Life, then After I Do, and Forever Interrupted. These three came in a box set with another Taylor Jenkins Reid book called One True Loves, which I have already read and also have on my Kobo. So I ended up giving that one to a friend, and I really hope she loves it just as much as I did. On that note, I really loved that book, and so I thought it would be perfect to try to give her other ones a go. I did try to read another Taylor Jenkins Reid once. It was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I just couldn't get into it, but I was listening to the audiobook, so I figured if I try to do it again, I would definitely just read the physical novel for it. But before I do that, I am going to try just a couple of her other books and see maybe One True Loves was just a one-shot for me, or if I do really love her writing style. Then I got I Hope This Doesn't Find You by Anne Liang. This is a cute little YA romance novel that one of my friends read and really loved, and I think she reviewed it saying it had her giggling and kicking her feet, so I was sold instantly by just that sentence alone. I love a good cutesy romance like that, and I think it's a high school romance, which could be a lot of fun. I have not read a high school romance in a hot minute. Then I got another romance box set, and this is the Avalon Bay series by Elle Kennedy. She is also the author of the Off Campus series, if you have heard of that. I know that the show is going crazy on, I think, Amazon Prime right now. It's all the rage. I have not seen it yet because I haven't read the Off Campus series yet, and I told myself I would read it before I watch the show, but I have heard really good things about this series as well, so I thought I would give it a go, and it looks like it's going to be the perfect summer romance read, like a vibe to read at the beach for sure. So something I'm going to keep in mind when I go to pick my reads for this summer, which is coming up so fast. By the time I post this video, it might already be summer, I'm not sure. But I do believe that this is just a cute little romance trilogy that takes place in beach towns, which if that doesn't scream summer read, I don't know what would. Then I got volume 1 of Swamp and Sea. This is supposed to be a graphic novel that is kind of fantastical and takes place in a swamp with people who are half human and half monster of some sort. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be sirens or lagoon creatures or what, but it sounds super fun, and I really enjoyed the art style of just the cover alone, but the inside seems like it's going to be cute too. The art style has a similar vibe to that of Lore Olympus. They are both webtoon comics, so I'm hoping that the story is going to kind of have that same vibe as well. If not, I mean, I'm half here for the art style, so I'm sure I'm going to love that part of it anyway. Then once again, I got another 3 books by the same author, all by Carly Fortune, and those are Every Summer After, which is being made or has been made into a Prime original show. I don't think it was called Every Summer After though. It's called something else, but it's based off of this book. And then Meet Me at the Lake and This Summer Will Be Different. Now I know Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake are supposed to take place in a place called Barry's Bay, which I have been to to quite a number of times, and I think it would be such a cute place for a summer romance to take place. That's originally what made me want to read these books, was that I was told that it took place in Barry's Bay, but I have also only ever seen really good reviews on these, so I'm hoping they live up to the hype. I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest. I'm not sure if the author is from that area, or if she's been there herself, or if she just closed her eyes, pointed to a random town on a map, and called it a day. I have no idea, but we're going to find out if it's accurate or not, because I can somewhat be the judge of that. Then I got this crazy looking book called Pen Pal by J.T. Geisinger. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that name correctly. It looks super raunchy, and part of me bought it because I love reading stuff like this and then embarrassing my boyfriend by reading the cringiest lines I can find in crazy romance books like this, but it also kind of does sound interesting. It is about a woman who becomes pen pals with a man locked up in prison, and then eventually he gets out and starts stalking her, I believe. It's supposed to be a dark romance, which I love. I'm just really hoping that it's not dark to the point where it's no longer romantic and should be classified as a thriller. It's one of those books that has a lot of potential to be good. It might be really cringy, I don't know, but I am willing to give it a go. Then I finally got Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco. I have the first and third book for this trilogy, but I had a hell of a time trying to find the second book to go in it, and I finally did, so I definitely need to get to reading this series, and it better not disappoint me because of the lengths that I went to get my hands on this book. And then again, I also got another webtoon based comic, which is volume 1 of Love Me to Death by Toonamated. It's an interesting little pen name. Again, the art style is really reminding me of Lore Olympus, and I think it's supposed to be about vampires, which I always eat stuff like that up, so I'm hoping that it's gonna be cringy, cute, everything you'd expect with like a romance vampire graphic novel. Is it vampires? Oh no, that's my bad. It's not vampires, it's necromancers. A necromancer, a resurrected bride, and her groom, who is very much alive. So kind of Corpse Bride, I guess. Could be very interesting. Then we have a book that I have been biding my time for once again to buy. I didn't want to buy a super overpriced copy of it because I could only find it in Indigo for like $40, and I wasn't willing to spend that on a book that I don't know if I am actually going to like. But that is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. I have heard, once again, very mixed things about this. It is supposed to be a literary horror about a girl who lives with her mother or her grandmother in a cabin in the woods. The details are a little blurry for me here, but they wait for people to come knocking on their door asking for directions or finding themselves lost, and I think end up making meals of those people, if you catch my drift, which is very disturbing. I'm not one to normally like cannibalism discussed in any of the media that I consume, but I often find myself somehow consuming media that depicts cannibalism anyway. I don't know how I find myself in these situations, but it's definitely my own doing. I don't know. Anyway, it sounds like it could be interesting, and something I really love about this copy is that I was kind of showing some of my books to one of my friends, and she opened it and noticed that it was signed, and I did not notice that before she pointed it out, so that makes this even just a little bit more special. It's kind of exciting. From Book Outlet too. I had no idea I was getting a signed copy of this. But yeah, anyway, this sounds super creepy, and I feel like I'm gonna have to be in the right mindset to read it because it has the potential to keep me up at night, but that could be a good thing. And then we're down to the last book in this haul. It is a chonker of a book. Once again, I got it from Book Outlet, and it is The Art of the Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, which is the animated Lord of the Rings movie that just recently came out, I believe, last year. I have yet to see it. I have listened to the Paris Paloma song that was made for it like 200 times, but I have not actually sat down and watched the movie, which I really need to get on. But what sold me about this book, even though I haven't seen that movie, was that throughout it, okay, hold on just one moment. I'm so sorry, I can't like fit this all here, but it compares the Peter Jackson adaptations of The Lord of the Rings to the recently made animated film for The War of the Rohirrim, and I think that is so cool. It, first of all, just shows that the Peter Jackson adaptations have really stood the test of time, and they're going to continue doing so because they remain the favorite movies of many people, myself included. And then also, it just shows that they really took care to keep things accurate to the world that has already been built and fleshed out, even though technically some of it is not probably exactly what Tolkien was describing or had pictured in his mind. It is what we as the readers and movie watchers now picture because those movies are that iconic. So to see that they took so much care and thought and effort into comparing the movies frame by frame and just keeping little details from that trilogy and putting them into this movie is amazing. amazing. Also, a lot of the artists and concept designers for the War of Rohirrim were also artists and concept designers for the Peter Jackson trilogy. They've been in the business a while, and I'm so happy that this has now been immortalized in a book. But that is it for today's book haul. I need to stop buying books. But if I'm being honest, there are still plenty books over here out of frame that I have recently purchased that I have not hauled because I do not feel like filming and editing a book haul that's like 100 books. And I don't think anybody really wants to watch a video that long either. So slowly but surely, I will continue to haul them through small book hauls and deny the fact that I do need to go onto a book buying ban. But with that, I am gonna leave this one here. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.